NWIWRAP is getting back out on the road, at least for a while. If these dum-dums don't start getting vaccinated, then we're not going to have wrestling shows again for a while, or at least I'm not going to be going to them. So yeah, let's hope things are going to go well over the next couple of months and we can keep this up. But regardless, I was out there in Bourbon, Indiana 2 nights ago, Friday night, for a show called 3 Rings of Doom, put on by WTF Wrestling. I think that's a group that's out of Indianapolis, or it's another organization with the same acronym. But it was put on by the guys from Pro Wrestling King and RentAWrestlingRing.com. They were kind of cooperating in putting on this show. So it was like a big super show of lots of different people. The problem with the super show like that for me, especially when I haven't been out that much over the last year or so for wrestling, is that I didn't recognize a lot of people. And so what's going to happen is you're going to hear me flubbing a lot of names and getting some things mixed up in terms of, calling this person by the wrong name. Or actually there was one match where I was reading the names off of a list and I didn't know either of the workers. And so in my head, like on the list, the first person in the row was the first person to come out, and the second person listed was the second person to come out, and it turned out it was the opposite. So I thought about cutting that out because I sound like a total doofus when that happens, but I figured, what the heck, I'm going to own my mistakes. So you'll notice things like that going through. I've inserted a little bit of commentary in a couple of places. So apologies to the people whose names that I mangled or mixed up. I will do better next time. But anyway, the setup of the show is pretty fun. It was like a 3.5 hour show, 11 matches altogether. The main event was the 3 Rings of Doom. There were actually 3 rings set up all in a row, and the third ring had a cage around it. And the way this main event worked was there were 2 10-person battle royals going on in the 2 open rings. When the first 5 people were eliminated from one of those rings, and so that ring was down to 5 people, those 5 people headed for the cage. And once both groups of 5 were in the cage, then you have 10 people in the cage, and then it becomes like a cage match where in WWE, where the goal is to escape the cage, and the first person to get up and over and climb out of the cage and down to the floor was the winner. So sit back, relax, listen to a 3.5 hour show squished down to about an hour of audio. This is the first half of the show of 3 Rings of Doom. This is Ken the Metal Professor. I am in Bourbon, Indiana for the WTF Wrestling production called 3 Rings of Doom. We are sitting in the outdoor pavilion at Bourbon Park. It's nice and breezy. It's been up in the 80s to 90 the last few days, but tonight it's like a nice cool 65 to 70 it looks like. All of the side doors are open, so there's a really good breeze blowing through the building, which is very nice. It's very cramped because there's lots of chairs. There are actually 3 rings, thus the name 3 Rings of Doom. And with a name like that, how can you not come to see this show, right? One of the rings has a cage around it, so I'm very intrigued into what the setup is for this event. How do they end up using all 3 rings? I don't know. There was another one of these last year, but I did not get to come. So, as usual, I'm here for the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. I am going to capture some audio, discuss a little bit of what's been going on, compress it down to about, anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how much stuff happens, right? And I will be airing this on Sunday, August 1st. Tonight is Friday, July 30th. I can already tell I'm either going to have to get closer to my mic or pipe up the gain here. But I'm not going to say all this all over again. You'll just have to deal with what it sounds like. The show is going to start in about 10 minutes, so I will pipe back in when the action begins. As a quote-unquote special treat to open this show, local favorite BD Smooth has been introduced. He's walking around the ring, handing out candy to little kids, carrying a plastic baby doll. Now, I don't know if he's like Bruce Wayne and doesn't want his identity revealed, but, too bad. Not only is BD Smooth a favorite in the local wrestling scene, he is also a favorite in the local Valparaiso drive-thru scene. If you've ever been through the Taco Bell on Calumet and you've been impressed by the service at the drive-thru window during the day, there's a good chance you ran into BD Smooth. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'll let you know. So after BD Smooth walked around the ring with the baby doll, he went into the ring. He spoke into the microphone, but it's kind of hard to hear where I've been set up. There's a Tonka truck in the ring, a couple of other toys. Never let it be said that wrestling is not performance art, folks. But somebody was not happy about what was happening. The Burger King, Mitchell Taylor, entered the ring and attacked BD Smooth. You can hear the crowd reacting, but I'm actually kind of thankful for the stopping of what was going on. So, by the time I was here, most of the perimeter of the pavilion had already been filled with tables from wrestlers selling their merch and the food tables and things like that. So I had to squeeze myself into one of the last open spots, and I managed to find what I think was the final power outlet that didn't have anything plugged into it. So in the corner that I'm in, the sound is kind of muddled. But that might be good, because I've been noticing it when I have clear sound and I record entrances. Very often, the music is, copyrighted music, and then when I record this and put it on the radio and then put the broadcast on YouTube, I get a copyright strike. So maybe the entrance music will be muffled enough. I won't know until later when I can listen to the recording back whether you can make heads or tails out of what ring announcer Ryan Anderson is saying. So he says one of the things that will happen tonight is the crowning of the first WTF heavyweight champion. We're waiting for the first entrance. Ryan showing off a glitzy new belt to the crowd. As skinny as Ryan is now, I'm surprised that belt doesn't tip him over.
Even though I heard what you said. Shut up.
Isaiah Moore and Theo Storm are in the ring. I've got a lot of stuff to catch up on. I'm not sure if they still go by the Thieves of Greatness, but I guess I'll find out.
But you see, there's an even bigger threat that's in this match tonight. No, it's not me. It's even a bigger and wider problem. Hey, I'm talking about somebody that I just recently beat last week. Now that you've heard the last WTF show that we had here, we tore it down here in the main event, and you came out on top. Good. See, that's right. But the fact of the matter is that beat
when you put Brutus Dillon's name in your mouth, you might want to be ready for him to make an appearance.
Have a chance in hell of being the first ever WTF champion here tonight. Theo, you might have beat me last week with the help of that stupid idiot Adam Nielsen. I see you over there. But tonight's a whole different story. All right? And I see what you're doing. Now,
I think we got the flavor of this. The first team introduced is the Entitled. Two gentlemen that look extraordinarily pleased with themselves. This next person introduced to the ring, my gosh, it's Brian Johnson of AC/DC. Oh no, just the same hat. I can tell this is going to be a rough night for me because if I don't recognize the people coming out right away and I can't really understand clearly the announcements, I'm not going to be able to pass the names along. And I've not seen any of these folks perform before. Quick studio break here on WVLP. The person that you just heard me remark about that had the same hat as Brian Johnson from AC/DC is Crash O'Conley, who is the one of the two O'Conley kids that appear in this show. His sister, Dara O'Conley, also appears later in the show. So I sound stumped during the show, but, you know, after a while I figured it out. Back to it. So I am going to end up sounding like a complete doofus. Please forgive me. All right, I know this guy. It's Jorge Bravo. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to refer to these guys as the Entitled as team number one, and Jorge Bravo and his partner, who looked like Brian Johnson from AC/DC. It's going to be one of those matches. The Entitled have taunted their opponents. They've tagged in and out, and they haven't made any contact yet. So they're already up to the mind games. It has been back and forth a couple of times at this point, but Jorge Bravo just dropped his opponent in a big way. They're both struggling to get to their feet. Tagged by Jorge to his partner with Crash, who comes in with lots of energy. He is taking care of business. Three men are on their backs and one is standing up. Just got clobbered with a forearm. But no pinfall. Jorge Bravo and Crash, I think, just won the match. Jorge had both his opponents in his clutches, one up on his shoulders and one in the DDT, and he did a double combination backdrop DDT, nailed both of them at the same time for a pinfall. Match number 2 is the undefeatable underdog Let Her Rip against Jamal Jupiter. Jamal is trying to get the crowd into it. Let Her Rip is mocking him for it. But Let Her Rip, I've not seen him before. He looks like an angry individual. Remember the goth kids from South Park? He's one of those. And Let Her Rip has already run for the corner after a drop kick by Jamal Jupiter. It looks like Jamal Jupiter just took a forearm right to the nose, which sort of fired him up, got his opponent in a pinning predicament, but then there was interference from the outside, as Let Her Rip has a stooge with him around the ring. Not enough to prevent Let Her Rip getting pinned by Jamal Jupiter. So whatever you call the move, where your opponent is bent over, facing forward, looking down at the mat, and you do a jumping scissor kick and bring the back of your knee down on the back of his head, driving him to the mat, that's what Jamal Jupiter just did. Match number 3 is going to be a tag team match between Hoss Fight and the team of Diesel Troxy and Damian Easterday. I'm not used to hearing Diesel Troxy come out with such happy music. Diesel chugs his Bud Light before getting in the ring. Kids, don't try this at home.
Introducing first, Tyler Coleman.
Well, Diesel's partner is named Connor. Hoss Fight, another tag team I've not seen before. They look kind of like you would expect with a name like Hoss Fight. Got some Stan Hansen vibes coming from one of them, and actually Trog the Caveman vibes coming from the other. Although this time the face paint is a little more artistic. The match started with Diesel Troxy in the ring, with the more Stan Hansen-like of members of Hoss Fight. Now, I say Stan Hansen-like. He's a little shorter, a little rounder, but he's got the scraggly hair. He's got some nice boots, jet black tights. So I'll give it to him. Diesel tagged into Connor, and Connor just got tossed into the opposite corner by the Stan Hansen type person. So he's got strength to toss the guy across the ring. I'll give him that too. And now the more vicious looking of the two is going to work on Connor with knee drops into the back. Oh, now poor Connor is in a surfboard. That looks painful. He looks flexible. He can handle it. Diesel can't do much from his corner of the ring. And then I'll call him Hoss Fight number 1. Just shoved Connor's face into the mat when he released the surfboard. Oh, and now here comes Hoss Fight number 2. And another wicked stretching maneuver. And he releases it, and they both get to their feet. Connor's trying to fight his way out of there, but no luck. Things have broken down a bit. All 4 men are in the ring. Oh, and Diesel Troxy with, well, not the mist, perhaps the beer. Nonetheless, he sprayed it into Hoss Fight number 1's face, but then he ended up getting the worst of it here. Oh, but a small package roll-up from Diesel, and he pins Hoss Fight. The power of Bud Light. Drink responsibly, kids. Up next is a fatal 5-way women's match, which means the introductions are going to go on for a while here. So I'll check back in when they're all done. So while the introductions are happening, I mentioned earlier that in this pavilion, it's nice and wide open. There's big doors that are open to the outside, so there's a good breeze coming through. Dara O'Connelly is being introduced now, so you can hear the Irish jig in the background. So outside one of the doors, I can see one of the workers who I don't know, but he's got a cell phone on a little selfie stick, filming a promo for himself, talking about whatever he's talking about. And now I'm really curious to see if it ends up on Facebook or something, because I want to know what he was saying. So hey, mystery worker, if you're out there, send me a link. So the Fatal 5-Way has begun. We've got Hannah Henderson, Dara O'Connelly, Mackenzie Black, Charlie Cruel, and Jensen. When the bell rang, the other 4 just piled on top of Charlie Cruel. Beat her up a little bit, threw her out of the ring. That was kind of rude. Jensen and Hannah Henderson are locking it up right now while the others are standing by. Oh, Charlie Cruel has come back in the ring, and she's screeching at Jensen. If you imagine Laurel getting in the face of Hardy, that's kind of the visual there of Charlie Cruel getting in the face of Jensen. So it ended how you would expect. Having been knocked out of the ring for a second time, Charlie Cruel gamely got back in and tried to break up a mix between 2 others and steal a pinfall. It didn't work. but I like her game. Antagonize somebody and get herself clobbered and sent out of the ring and sneak back in at the right moment. She's already done that twice. O'Connelly is going from person to person trying to pin them, but nobody's cooperating. Mackenzie Black is now officially the first person tonight to jump off the top turnbuckle to the outside of the ring onto the gathering of opponents. Charlie Cruel's trying to take advantage again, bringing her back in the ring. But the tables are turned on her pretty quick. Mackenzie Black with a bulldog of Charlie Cruel into the mat, tries to get a pinfall. Darrow O'Connelly came in to break that up. They should have done this one in the cage, but, you know, I'm not in charge. Hannah Henderson is now the first one to do a frog splash from the top turnbuckle into the ring. I'm not sure if anybody went to the top for any of the first 3 matches. That screeching you just heard is not the person in the submission hold, it's the person applying the submission hold. Charlie Cruel. Looks like Charlie Cruel has won the Fatal 5-Way. Now the next matchup, number 5, we're going to watch my high school gym teacher get killed by Congo Kong. It's the veteran Jack Vaughn with his dusty gray chin-length mustache and black hard-rimmed glasses, his red tights, his red velvet jacket. And yeah, Congo Kong's going to squish him. At least that's my prediction. Maybe the veteran has some veteran wiles up his sleeve. So Congo Kong was sitting on the top turnbuckle, and the veteran Jack Vaughn went over there, put him up on his own shoulders in a fireman's carry, did an airplane spin a few times around, which was impressive for a bit, but now he finds himself back out of the ring. Congo Kong's in the ring. That was an impressive feat of strength. Now he baits Congo Kong and they switch places. Congo's outside the ring. Here comes... the veteran faked a Fosbury flop kind of move up over the top rope, but didn't pull the trigger. That smack you just heard was a double-palmed chest strike from Congo Kong. I think I can actually see the spike in the sound file that caused. And now the veteran has some veteran moves. He suckered Congo Kong into a kind of drop toe hold into the outside turnbuckle. These things are metal. Now he rolls Congo back into the ring. I'm getting the sense that Kong is done playing with Jack. He just did a shoulder roll right over the body of Vaughn in the middle of the ring. And now he's signaling for his cannonball, and there he goes. Squish right into the corner of the ring. and kicked out. Yep. Fireman's carry into a back body drop. Kong is now going up to the top turnbuckle again. And big frog splash. And there is the foregone conclusion. We still have one more match to go in this recap of Friday nights. 3 Rings of Doom from Bourbon, Indiana. But I wanted to break in because it's 9:30 and say you're listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. And now that I've done the legal thing, back to the wrestling. We are ready for match 6, which is for the first crowning of a WTF heavyweight champion. Brutus Dillon versus Theo Storm versus Isaiah Moore in a triple threat match. Brutus Dillon has his friend Bubbles on the outside of the ring with him. Interesting character. Theo Storm is accompanied by Charlie Cruel. She's back out. Poor Isaiah, I don't think he's got anybody. Theo and Isaiah both went after Brutus Dillon, but they were taken down by a double clothesline right away. As Brutus Dillon predicted at the start of the show, when he warned Theo Storm and Isaiah Moore that their friendship wouldn't hold up during this match. The two of them were working together to take down Brutus Dillon. Isaiah Moore jumped off the top turnbuckle with a flying elbow, and as he was trying to get the pinfall, Theo Storm yanked him off Dillon. And now the two of them are trading forearms and elbows. That was Isaiah's palm hitting Theo's chest, and then that was a double clothesline takedown by Brutus Dillon, which got Bubbles very excited. He actually ran over along the ringside, almost crashed into my table. I was worried there for a second. Dillon dispenses with Moore over the top rope, but he doesn't quite make it to the floor until he tried to come back in with a slingshot over the top rope. He just got dismissed with a slap. Now he is on the floor. Dillon turns his attention to Storm, but Storm gets him with a boot to the face. And now he's going to regret it with a power slam. And sitting choke slam. Brutus Dillon gets the pinfall, which makes Bubbles all excited. And unless something strange happens, that's the end of the first half of the show. So this match you're about to listen to bits of, I spent the entire match having confused the names of the opponents. I was reading a list of the participants off of a piece of paper, and in my brain, just the first person in the list was the first person to enter, which wasn't the case. So when I'm discussing somebody I think is named Josh Morris, I'm actually describing Brutus Atwell, and vice versa. And I finally got it sorted out at the end of the match when the winner was announced. So yeah, big fail on my part. Brutus Atwell did look a little more like a Brutus than I thought at first, so that makes sense. The first match after intermission is Josh Morris versus Brutus Atwell. And we've already had a Brutus Dillon. And at first I was thinking, you know, having two Brutuses is, you know, Bruti could be a little dicey, but there is no mistaking one Brutus for the other. Brutus Dillon is a large monster. Brutus Atwell came out trying to bust moves. He's got this like brown, tan, and gold shiny sweatsuit outfit thing. Somewhere in America, there are 75-year-old grandparents going, hey, where did our couch cover go? I think I found it. So yeah, not mistaking these two guys for each other. It's okay to have two people named Brutus. I'm making fun of his outfit because I'm supposed to, not because I'm being mean. Josh Morris, I've never seen him before either. Looks like he ought to audition for Hoss Fight. He's sort of got a moondog look about him with the jagged jean pants, different lengths on each leg. Looks like an island castaway. Bare feet. Brutus Atwell just got caught in midair by Josh. And Josh does have the weight advantage and the height advantage. Maybe not quite a height advantage. Maybe they're about the same in height, but he certainly looks bigger. And he just met the corner turnbuckle on the outside of the ring. Brutus Atwell has saucy printed on the back of his tights, shorts. And now I kind of wish he left his sweatpants on because I didn't need to see that. Josh tried to put away Brutus Atwell with a hump handle slam kind of move. Didn't quite get it, and now Brutus just shoved Josh Morris into the ref and then gave him a low blow from the backside. And then drives Morris's forehead into the mat, but the ref is down. Oh, quick ref recovery. And he counts the pinfall. So Brutus Atwell wins with shenanigans. Okay, I just talked through that whole match, having the names of the workers reversed. Brutus Atwell was the Moondog spot-looking guy. And Josh Morris is Mr. Dancy Pants. So Josh Morris won that match. There's a good chance I'm just going to go back and cut all that out so I don't sound like a total idiot. Yeah, the joys of being at a show where you don't recognize a lot of the people just yet. Well, somebody has their own personal ring announcer. Well, I don't know who this is, but he dresses nice. He looks like he's about 12. So he's introducing the first team in a six-man tag with the Burger King, Mitchell Taylor, Chico Suave, and Daniel Starks. Well, Junior hands the mic back to Brian Anderson. Brian's got to watch out. He might have some competition here. The guest ring announcer looked a little young, but sharp dresser, bow tie and tux. Good voice, good presence. Here comes the opposing team. The other team of BD Smooth, DA Dollar, and the third person whose name I didn't catch. The unnamed man grabbed the mic and offered to make this a no disqualification falls count anywhere match. I don't know if that stuck, but we'll see. This is sort of broken down here with 3 pairs strewn to different points in the room. Their own little fights going on, one right in front of my table. Oh. Listen to this thud on the chair. Oh, it's not a thud. Daniel Starks has been sat in a chair and he's getting choked. The one person in the match that I didn't catch his name got the ring bell, put it in Daniel Stark's lap, and then smacked it with the ring bell handle. That large gentleman also had a dollar bill stapled to his forehead a little earlier in the match, and he's still carrying it around. Daniel Starks and DA Dollar mixing it up right in front of the table, now taking it back to the cage. Let's see, Mitchell Taylor and BD Smooth are back in the ring together. Everybody else is still on the outside. I didn't see what BD Smooth did to Mitchell Taylor to get that reaction from the crowd, and I'm not sure I want to know. After getting whacked in the head by a stop sign, Mitchell Taylor is victim to BD Smooth's pinfall. This next match is Atlas Hightower against Marche Rockets. The match opens up with a nice sportsmanlike handshake, which begs the question of who's going to be the first one to employ unsportsmanlike means, and your traditional collar and elbow lockup. Rolling around the ring ropes. There we go. Marche Rockets smacking Atlas Hightower with a Ric Flair chop. I missed the first one, so I wanted to get the second one. So far, this has been one of those matches. It's just solid. Both guys doing their thing. Momentum shifts back and forth. Marche Rocket just did a spine buster onto Atlas Hightower, but didn't get a pinfall. We've had power moves, we've had sleeper holds. Now Hightower with a combination of elbows and fists to Marche Rocket. That back knee scissor kick takes Marche down. Yeah, Atlas looked like he was expecting to count the pin, but nope. So Hightower had Marche Rocket knocked a little loopy, and instead of going in, he just perched himself up on the top turnbuckle waiting, and I think that was a mistake because when he finally came off the turnbuckle, Rocket got him with a foot right to the face. And that was a clothesline, and another. No, he missed on that one. But then a huge sweeping kick. Now Marche's in position and went for a big splash, but missed it. But then a scoop slam. Confusion there. It was a 2 count. The bell rang, but it was only a 2 count. But it was like 2.99. Marche's got Hightower in a fireman's carry, but Hightower has given him elbows to the jaw from there. Get himself out of it. More running. Kick by Hightower, but not a 3 count. And there's the proper 3 count after Marche Rocket puts away Atlas Hightower with a stunner. Good match. This match is Eric Dillinger and Chip Walker in a Bourbon Street brawl. Dillinger brought a trash can and a kendo stick. Chip Walker didn't bring anything, but when his music started, he just charged the ring and got to business. He gave Dillinger a backdrop onto the can that Dillinger himself brought. Walker was smashing Dillinger into the cage from the outside. They're in the middle ring. It's the third ring. Closest to me that has the cage. So they're not in the cage, but they're right next to it. Walker's already using it. That was Dillinger introducing the garbage can to Walker's back. Here we go again. That garbage can used to be a cylinder. Now it looks like a taco. These two guys are taking advantage of the fact that they can move back and forth between the first 2 non-caged rings that are set up for the main event. They're making the referee work really hard because there's a kendo stick to Chip Walker's back. It's a Bourbon Street brawl. Falls are going to count in either ring, and the ref has to keep following them back and forth from ring to ring. You know, the last match was just wrestling finesse, moves and counter moves. In this match, these guys are just beating the you-know-what out of each other. Chip Walker just did 3 suplexes on Eric Dillinger with no release in between. Suplex, roll over, power up, repeat 2 more times. Now Walker's looking under the ring. And he comes out with his fraternity pledge board thing. It's like a big cricket paddle. Right to Dillinger's backside. Maybe not the most effective place for it. And then after he drops Dillinger backwards onto it, then yeah, he gets the pin. We got to root for Chip Walker because he's from Valparaiso, so good for him. The main event is about to begin, and here's how it works. There are 3 rings set up all next to each other. 1 with a cage, 2 without. There will be 2 10-man battle royals going on in the open rings. When each of those is down to 5 people, the last 5 get to move into the cage. And then at the end of the first part, there's 10 people in the cage. From that point, the first one to escape the cage and get to the floor is the winner. Just so you can hear the sound of 20 people slamming around in 2 wrestling rings. I am not going to try to keep up with this. I'll probably check back in once the last 10 are in the caged ring. It's a madhouse. The crowd is starting to thin. I mean, the crowd in the rings. There have been several eliminations. Chip Walker won his match, but he was eliminated by Eric Dillinger. Congo Kong is still in there. Mitchell Taylor, Charlie Krul, Jensen. Beanie Smooth. D.A. Dollar, Atlas Hightower. Looks like Congo Kong was just eliminated. That was unexpected. I think one ring looks like they're down to about 7. And maybe the other one too. So a couple of more eliminations from each ring and then everybody will move to the cage. All right, looks like we've got 10 in the cage. Crash and Dara O'Conley, B.D. Smooth, Jorge Bravo. Josh and Brutus Atwater from an earlier match. Charlie Krul just jumps off the top of the cage and takes out a couple of people. And at this point, it's not elimination. The first person to climb up and over the cage to the floor is the winner. There have been 1 or 2 significant attempts to leave the cage so far, but nothing's worked. So the point is not to eliminate anyone or to get a pinfall, but on the other hand, all the other contestants really, can't be on their best because otherwise they're going to get you before you get out. As Atlas Hightower is finding out. So you got to incapacitate as many people as you can to increase your chances of escaping. Atlas Hightower has a crutch inside the ring now, and he's swinging it around. Clobber number 1. Clobber number 2 on Brutus Atwater. Jorge Bravo throws Josh Morris into the crutch. But everybody's still in the cage. The match goes on. BD Smooth has somebody up on his shoulders like they're playing a game of chicken with somebody else. I'm not sure what the point of that is, but it is BD Smooth, so you never know. Charlie Cruel standing in the corner, and everybody's distracted. She should be sneaking out. There's a lot of people that are dazed and confused. Oh, Jorge Bravo's going for it. Yeah, but a couple of people are still alert enough to drag him back in. And Dara O'Conley managed to sneak up and out. She and Charlie Cruel were climbing to the top of the cage. And Crash O'Conley was a little puzzled as to whether he should try to stop them. He yanked Charlie Cruel back in the ring, which gave his sister an escape route. And that wraps up 3 Rings of Doom. The big winner is Dara O'Conley. That's all here. I feel sorry for the guys that have to break down and transport out all 3 rings. Merle Ramsey, owner of RentAWrestlingRing.com, set all this up, but I'm pretty sure I know his strategy. While all of his rings are out of the pole barn for this event, he can make his family members sweep out the pole barn and clean it up. That's pretty smart. Well, Brutus Dillon is out here to congratulate Dara O'Conley.
But congratulations, because a little birdie just told me that on Sunday, September 19th, back here in Bourbon, Indiana, it's going to be Dara O'Conley versus Brutus Dillon for the WTF Championship.
So for her efforts, she gets a match against Brutus Dillon next month, or in September.
I'm not going to treat you no differently than I would anybody else in this damn ring. I don't care.
She's not trying to climb back into the ring to undo it.
I don't care if you weigh 100 pounds soaking wet. I'm going to beat your ass all over this ring, and I'm going to show you that you need to respect me. Yeah, that is right.
And she gave him a slap for good measure. She's about a third of his size, but she's not afraid of him. Crash is telling her, you know, you better get out of there now. She listens.
Sunday, September 19th. Hey, Crash, it would be in your best interest not to get involved. All I ask you to do, I have no problem doing so. I'll stop you
All right, thanks for listening. This is Ken the Metal Professor. I've been here at Bourbon, Indiana, at the Bourbon Park Pavilion for 3 Rings of Doom. You're listening to this on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana.